Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. We are going to talk about my top 5 soft plastics. Last time I did the top 5 for smallmouth. This time, top 5 for largemouth. And you guys have probably seen this already in numerous of my videos, but I'm going to go over my top 5 soft plastic baits that I'm going to grab when I'm going to go fishing for largemouth. If I haven't been to the lake, and I know there's largemouth in that lake, I've never been there before, and I'm gonna try and catch them. These are most likely the baits that you are gonna see on my deck. These are the baits I have the most confidence in when I'm looking for largemouth bass as well. As conditions change, I might throw other things, but these soft plastics are going to be on my deck at some point. And they are the ones that have produced the most bass for me as well over the years. So that's where I get my confidence from. Just a little heads up, these are just my preference. These are not baits specific, they're just soft plastics. They got numerous rigging methods that we'll go over as well, and you know, even some instances where, you know, they have proven themselves to me why they are, you know, the best, or some the baits that the soft plastics that I'm going to take out for largemouth bass. So the first one, I'm gonna go with one that I've thrown a ton of for a long time. And this one has been in my box, like I said, for a long time. It's the beaver style bait. This one happens to be by, if you're watching my videos, you already know it. Excuse me. This is the Bandito Bug by Guggen Squad. It's the 4-inch model, black and blue. I catch a ton of fish off of this thing. You know, there's been some complaints about it being a one and done, one fish and done, or one bite and done, and it's just gets tore up. Not for me. I don't know. Sometimes you might get one that tears it up, but I do typically catch more than one fish on one bait. Sometimes it's 2 fish. Sometimes there's one where, you know, it gets tore up, but typically I'm catching like 3 to 5 fish on one bait. So it's, you know, it just depends on how you rig it, and you know, it just depends on the fish, and there's a whole lot of factors. But anyways, this bait has caught me a ton of fish. I love the scent that they put in these baits, and black and blue for me is just a huge confidence color. I love to rig this Texas rig. You know, I will flip and pitch this. I'll throw I've been throwing it on my swim jigs for a more compact model, and what I'll do is, you know, when I throw them on my when I throw it on my swim jigs to be compact, I will take off, you know, a good portion of it here, and if I want a larger, you know, presentation, then I will just leave it all as a whole, and it adds that extra inch. So this bait has caught me a ton of fish. You can throw it, you know, you can throw on light line, lightweight, heavy line, heavyweight, swim jigs. I've seen guys, I even use these on my buzz baits as trailers. So very versatile bait, used in a lot of different situations. I've caught a lot of big fish on this, you know, pitching into, like, say, pads or thicker cover, and even just rolling it over some wood too. So this is my first one I'm going to take out of the, you know, that I'm going to take away from these top 5 soft plastics. This one's produced a lot of bites for me, so a lot of confidence there with that. Plus, it's hard to go wrong with black and blue for me anyways. It's just a huge confidence color. If that's the first color I'm going to take out whenever I'm going to a new lake. The next one, well, let's see here. Well, we'll just go with a swimmer. Okay, so this is the paddle tail swim bait, and this is the 4.8-inch Saucy swimmer. You know, anything 4.8 to 5-inch paddle tail is going to be a great, you know, option. And this one, this is the Pro Blue Red color. I've used this a ton of different times. I've caught a ton of different fish. This is what I'm going to put on mainly for, I mean, you can put it on swim jigs, spinner baits and stuff. The 4.8 is a little bit large for spinner baits, I feel like, and swim jigs. You can do it. But my main use for this is weedless application. So if I put it, sometimes I'll just put it on a Texas rig with a 1/4 ounce weight on the nose and heavy line, and slowly swim it through heavy weed cover, heavy reeds, you know, pencil reeds, and I get some good bites that way. But a lot of times, and you're gonna see, and you've seen on my past videos, this is the bait that soft plastic that I throw on my belly weighted underspin swim bait hook, and that's my search bait. This is part of my search bait. So whenever I'm going out and trying to find a bite, doesn't matter what it is, large, or I mean what lake it is, if I'm going out there for a new lake that I haven't been to, or a lake that I haven't been to for a while, or just going out there for a bite, this is what I'm going to throw on. And with that belly weighted underspin swim bait hook, just gets a ton of bites. So that's my second option. Like I said in my other video, I'm not doing these any specific order. You know, some of these, I mean, I guess if I am, I guess I kind of am in a way. This would be my number one, this would be my number two, but I'm trying not to do them in any specific order because they all have caught me a lot of good fish. But the next one, we'll stick with the swim bait. Next one's kind of new for me. This is the 7-inch unloaded dangerous swim bait, and this is in the white, I can't remember the color, bone albino color. You know, forgive me if that's wrong, but it's white albino color, whatever it is. But I throw this on a you know, a belly weighted swim bait hook. It goes on a big, I throw this on a big, you can use it like a regular swim jig too. Just, you know, use a bigger hook to get the hook back a little bit more. But what I really like about these and using the belly weighted swim bait hook is that it's weedless, and I like throwing it in and around weed cover. And the I believe I use a 12-aught. I believe I use is it 12? It's at least a 10-aught hook, 10-aught or a 12-aught owner beast hook. I can't remember right offhand, but if you grab, you know, one of each, they are kind of expensive. So I'm pretty sure it's a 12-aught, you know, owner beast hook, because I wanted a big hook that gets a little bit further back. I wanted it back here because sometimes they do only grab a portion of it. It's a big bait. I want to make sure they grab at least the part that has the hook in it. So this bait has, I've got a springtime pre-spawn video where I was catching a lot of big bass on this bait. As a matter of fact, in that same video, I was having a really tough day in the morning, and I killed the batteries on my boat. I didn't even have electronics. I didn't even have Livescope. That was the first year I was messing around with Livescope. I didn't even have that working. I had nothing. So, I mean, I barely had my Talons working. So I didn't really have anything. I went to one spot and not to jump back, but I grabbed my search bait, got one bite, 3-pounder. Threw it again, 3.5 pounder. So okay. Well, I don't know if it's exactly in that order, but a couple of 3-pounders. So okay, well, let's throw this bait on. Let's see if we can get some big fish. Maybe we're in a big school. I couldn't tell on the Livescope because my Livescope was dead. My batteries were dead. So I threw this guy out there and I just started getting hammered. 4-pound fish. I think maybe 1 or 2 in the 5-pound range, maybe 1, but a lot of 3s and 4s, and it was just getting crushed. So and I've been throwing this bait ever since that point, that time, and it's just been getting a lot of good bites. Not just by, you know, smaller fish will still eat this too. So sometimes you can use this for a search bait too. And you know, what you'll find is if the fish aren't ready to fully commit, you know, but they are hungry, they will bite the tail, and you're gonna miss those fish. When that happens, drop down to something a little bit smaller, and that's where you'll get a couple more. But that's where this bait really shined for me, and I've been throwing it since and been getting a lot of really good bites, as you guys have seen in my past videos. So this is definitely gonna be one that's on my deck. I'm going to a new lake as well when I'm looking for big bass. So when I run into a school of them, I'm gonna start throwing this as well. Maybe I can get some of those bigger fish out of there. Sometimes it will. Sometimes it pulls them out of there. All right, so the next one, I think we'll go with this one here. So this is the worm. This is an 8-inch straight tail worm. Now there's a lot of different sizes of worms. I've got 10s, I got 12s, I've got 12.5-inch worms, and then I think there's I can't remember if there's a 14-inch. No, I don't have. There's a 14-inch worm out there, believe it or not, but I don't have one. I think the biggest one I've got is a 12.5-inch worm by I think Mann's. I think it's a jelly worm. But I did a video on it. The fish weren't really having it, so they only got one bite, and I didn't have much time. But it gets bit. But this one right here, so this is, again, a lot of my plastics are Guggen Squad, so I'm sorry for that if you guys don't like Guggen Squad, but I'm not trying to be brand specific. But an 8-inch straight tail worm, so like say the larger straight tail worm, so more of your finesse one would be a 6-inch or 6.5-inch straight tail worm. That'd be one where I would throw for a, say if I'm going to throw it on docks, trying to get more bites. But this one right here, this is an 8-inch straight tail worm, and I'm going to throw this with, I don't know, you can throw it in a bunch of different ways. Typically, I am throwing it on a Texas rig, 4-aught hook with about a 1/4 ounce weight to try it first. I'm going to get it a little bit deeper. I'm going to go with a heavier weight. And what I like to do is I like to drag this. I like to drag this out of heavy cover. It can be shallow, it can be deep, but mostly it's going to be, well, actually I shouldn't say mostly. So what I do like to do is drag this out of reeds, pencil reeds, visible ones that you can see obviously, and throw it in the reeds and just drag it out. And I get a lot of really good bites doing that. And then I've also fished these on deeper weed lines. Now if I'm going to go with the deeper weed line, I'm going to use a different line. I'm going to use fluorocarbon line. I'll probably drop down a 20-pound fluorocarbon line, and I'll do straight fluoro. And it does get a little spongy, but they won't see that line anyways as it's coming out of that weed line. And still get some really good bites. I did catch some fish doing that this last year or the year before. Well, last year too, this last summer. But this is also another good confidence color. This is actually June bug color. I really like June bug for worms. I'm not sure what it is. I know a lot of guys like plum. Plum's a good color too. Black and blue, Okeechobee craw. That Okeechobee craw is also a really good color. I've got a ton of fish off of June bug. I can't tell you what it is, but I just know it's a confidence for me, and I've got a lot of fish on it, so it works. Now, I saved this one for the last because this is another one of my newer favorites, and it's the Topwater Toad. Now this is just a plastic, it's not hollow body. As you can see on the back side, it's got a hook slot. This is solid. This is by Savage Gear. It's a Durtech Tough Toad. So Durtech plastic, super durable and strong. Now this one is rigged up with just a single hook. Goes through there, and they've got their own hooks. I don't have one out right now, but it's an EWG hook that has a little bulb on it that helps it float. This is a floating plastic too, by the way, so it will float on its own. So you can just slow reel it and stop. You can slow reel and stop. You can twitch it if you want to. I mean, that works as well because that makes a little bit of a pop and splash. But that little bulb also keeps it from sliding down the hook. It'll keep it, at least going up the hook. And when it slides down, it's going to bunch up, and the fishes are going to get a good grip on the hook. So if it slides up, at least it'll slide up and out of the way, and the fish will get most of the hook. I've used these. I've used this lately. Whenever I have a topwater bite, I've used this, and I've gotten a lot of really good bites. And the obvious thing, it's durable plastic. One frog is going to last you at least all day long, unless you get into a pike and he cuts you off. But at least all day long. I've got one tied on. It's been on all summer long, and had some good bites on it. Now there's some other topwater toads that are still pretty good. They probably so this one doesn't make a ton of commotion on the water because the legs aren't as big. They don't have big enough, as big of paddles. So it's a little bit different. It's more of a finesse. They still just hammer the snot out of it. So this has become one of my more favorite weedless top water options, and it just gets bit. And a single hook, for some reason, I don't know what it. I mean, it's only one, so it's not like you get two hooks fighting with each other, but or working against each other. Sorry, but the one hook, I don't know. I've gotten some really good hookup ratio with that as well. So and maybe because it is just one hook, it's like, you know, Texas rigging. You know, you got one hook. It's only one hook to worry about. Once it gets pinned in there, you're not worried about that other hook prying against it or anything like that. So I've got a lot better hookup ratio on this style of a bait as well. So it's a really good bait that I've really enjoyed getting used to. That one's, like I said, that's by Savage Gear, the Tough Toad, Dartech plastic, black and blue. That's the toad I'm going to start with. I'll either do black and blue, I'll do white, or I'll do like a leopard style color. For them, it's like a neon, or not a neon, it's like a green green top with a little bit of a whiter belly. So it's almost like throwing a white anyways. But the green top makes it look like it's more of a leopard style colored frog. So anyways, guys, that's my top 5 soft plastics that I'm going to use for largemouth fishing. Those are the ones I'm going to use or have out on the deck most likely. If it's going to, you know, so there might be some days where I might not have this out because it might not be a top water day for me. So that might be the only factor that you might not see this out, but it will be rigged inside that locker, and it is right now, by the way. I just want to get the rods out. You know, let me know in the comments, you know, if you know, what are your favorite soft plastics that you like to use for largemouth bass as well, and what has got you the most fish, maybe your biggest fish too. So I'm curious to know. Mine would be, I can't remember. I think mine is actually on the Bandito bug. My biggest largemouth, my PB, is only a 5 pound, 12 ounce largemouth. So I've got some work to do on that PB, but this has actually got my PB. So that one holds it for me. I've got a lot of really good bites and some really big fish too, 5 pounders on other baits. But that's the one that does the most damage for me. Thank you again for watching this video. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'll catch you on the next one.